Alrighty, what's up, everybody? We're back, Hunters Association podcast. Sorry again, holiday season, so it's gonna be kind of sporadic as far as when we get together. Once holiday season kind of over, then everything should go back to normal with the bi-weekly schedule. But we're back today, which is all that matters. Um, Another 4 chapters of discussion. The past 2 chapters, though, a lot of lore dump, a lot of plot development, which is my favorite part. We got some questions answered, and we got probably more questions just based off the information that we got. Which I'm very curious to hear y'all takes on it, because I had like some crazy ass theories. Or
More theories.
yeah, more theories. Some crazy ass theories, especially after today's chapter. I was like, what if Suho, becomes something? And then of course, I like to call him Chucky because he kind of like a little demon kid. So like I call him Chucky, but I think his real name was like, is it like Rizel or something, if I'm not mistaken?
Don't they
Uh,
they call him a fragment of that
Yeah.
one,
yeah, was it
Of
TL?
the celestial, chill.
Yeah,
whatever.
TL,
Whatever you call it.
TL, however you pronounce this shit. Yeah, so I normally call him Chucky because looks evil as fuck. But I guess I can't call him Chucky anymore based after what happened in today's chapter.
Yeah,
so,
he likes
yeah,
post time skip Chucky.
yeah. So I gotta, I guess I just gotta use his real name going forward, which kind of sucks. But what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? So, man, I'm ready though. I am ready. All right. First and foremost, I guess let's get the quote unquote, I don't want to call it boring chapter, which is chapter 29. It wasn't really necessarily boring, but it was just like a mutt getting out type stuff.
right?
Wasn't really too much because he got out of the dungeon, but he's still trapped. Now he's just trapped in the shadow realm.
He has more freedom though, right?
I mean, I guess because the shadow realm is a lot bigger.
Right. So he has more freedom than he used to have, which is great, but he still can't leave.
Right, which I guess that means we still can necessarily use whatever power we will get from him, because
Well, we kind of called it, right? We kind of called it like he's an S rank. You can't let him out. If like,
yeah,
he kind of ruins the story. So they had to give him a reason to not get out.
that's true. Were y'all disappointed by the fact that the boss of the dungeon kind of got off screened a little bit?
He got off screen. He got the seal attack.
It was a tiny off screen. Like it wasn't like something. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it was like very short, a very short fight.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, you got hit. All right, next. And then we went to like a Mutt's backstory.
Yeah, I honestly expected it to be more, but I wanted it to be more a mutt focused though. So when it wasn't, I wasn't tripping that it really wasn't a big deal. That the boss itself wasn't a big deal. I wanted to see if there was going to be more tied to the specific, because even the mutt seemed to not be 100% sure why he was chained there specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But I think obviously they had also mentioned, he didn't want him to kill the dungeon boss, but I was hoping maybe he was wrong and the dungeon boss had something to do with him being chained up as well. But since that didn't pan out, it was what it was.
True. What was your thoughts?
Y'all gonna disrespect a seal like that? Is that what we're gonna do?
Disrespect the seal?
I mean,
Yeah,
I just
man.
wonder, what you gonna do?
I mean,
that's not disrespect. It just is what it is. If she's gonna be used for a party member, Kingdom Hearts Donald combination attack, like, you know what I mean? Like,
not Donald.
that's cool. I
I have a
guess.
question for you guys, right?
Okay.
If I said Kishimoto,
Okay.
would you understand what I meant?
You said
This is-
Kishimoto?
Yeah.
Kishimoto would understand what you
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah.
Naruto. The disrespect of women in his series is the same thing
Hold up,
that Soul Leveling's doing.
hold up.
No,
It's
no,
still supposed to be amazing.
no. She's a demon. Can that count?
I mean,
she's a
she's still
demon,
a
but-
female demon.
Okay, but what about Chaha? What about original Solo?
Honestly,
Yeah,
Child kind of got disrespected after, like, once Jeju hit, every S rank got technically disrespected once Jeju came. But after that, like, Child was kind of a non-factor, but most S ranks at the time was non-factors.
Yeah, it was equal opportunity non-factorism at that point.
What's that girl
Even the
Naruto
nation ranks weren't useful.
with the blonde hair? When she uses her mind power, she pass out.
Oh, you talking about Ino?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the same thing. She used her power, she passed out on the ground. If somebody comes by to stab her, she dead.
Lady Selner.
Lady Selner, she's barely in the series.
yeah.
You might have respected her more because she was black, but besides that,
I mean, it's
I was reaching.
You have a no, she was ass. Child had a baby. Does that count? She got the grand prize. That don't count.
every female character in here might have been disrespected. Yeah, I don't know what the first baby girl's name was with the kind of like orange hair.
Man, look,
He got traumatized,
but she was like that from jump though.
then pushed to the side.
And that didn't hurt my feelings at all. But I understand where you're going.
Well, Geno's cousin came in for a little bit, posted something on social media. She gone.
Well, I mean, she's part of the guild. She just don't do shit though.
Exactly. She's an afterthought. And once again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just going along with the bit, but still, it's just every female character in Soul Leveling is like, yeah.
So would you rather them not? So here's my question: would you rather them not introduce the female characters in a way that, kind of like they're going to be mainly on screen as far as fighting goes, mainly because they're going to be disrespected, and you rather them kind of stay more in the background and not get disrespected that way? Or is it more disrespectful not even having the chance to be shown in a battle scene, even though you're going to get your ass
I think
whooped?
he's still being disrespected. Maybe she's. We all know in Solo Leveling, if you're not a woo, you're really not a focus. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So it's like,
what do you mean?
if you're not a woo, you're almost a non-factor.
It's like, so wait, okay. Let me give you some examples, right? You got Choi, who was in the first one, the fire guy.
Right.
Can't remember his name, first name, last name.
Right.
He's in this one. He had moments in both series.
Whoa. He also was responsible for his niggas getting whacked the first series. So
Hey, it happens.
he's only a factor currently because he's stronger than Suho right now because we met him at a weaker state.
But at the same time, we got my boy Beck, who got the wolf transformation.
Remember by the time we realized that, what was the dude's name? Remember Goto Ryuji?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time we smashed on Goto Ryuji, nigga, nobody was irrelevant.
Hey, you
these
remember your
people
boy? What's his name? Thomas Andre. Craziness, man. Crazy.
Look, but at the same time, he still got his shine. He got his moments. He got his, like, everybody's scared of me. Like we got some, at least a little bit of backstory, at least a little bit of something. Like, Shaw was this strong, and her moves look beautiful. Like, that's all we saw of her. We got to see like one little sparring battle with her.
But she was a high tier. Like I think she was an important character. I don't think it's the same. And even with
What made her
Goto, I don't know, but can we
What you mean? Yes, we can. Sakura, yeah, exactly.
Wait,
Sakura barely.
I know we're not. Wait, who we comparing to Sakura?
I'm just saying, okay, I think it's the same argument because once you get to Naruto Shippuden, if you're not Sasuke or Naruto, you're not relevant. Or a villain. If you're not Sasuke, Naruto, or a bad guy, you're not relevant.
Sakura was relevant at the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think, like...
I mean, she was still ass, but she was relevant.
We had a Mizukage. We also had Tsunade. She was a Hokage. We had a lot of female representation. We had the other healer ninja, the slug girl. We had or not the slug girl, the pig girl.
Oh yeah,
Okay, so
you know,
Tsunade's
Nick,
you tell me what battle Tsunade's won.
I can't tell you that.
She beat Orochimaru.
Where?
Oh,
remember?
Don't put that on my nigga Orochimaru.
No, she did. Well, it was when so remember, it was like when she first got introduced, and Naruto was fighting
Kabuto.
Yeah, Kabuto and Orochimaru.
She didn't win that fight.
Yeah, she definitely didn't win that fight. Don't do that.
Well, she technically would have won, but she kind of took the hit for Naruto.
And
that's an L, bro.
Don't do my nigga like that.
Yeah, that's an L, bro.
I mean, look, I'm trying to help him, man.
Well, I'm just saying, no, but to his point though, we did have female representation. Nobody. The problem is in some of these is like, again, if you're not the main nigga or the main two, you're irrelevant once they get so strong, you know. But you can't. I don't know if you can really say that about Naruto because it's like guys like Lee and Neji and them, they didn't get their shine either.
They fell to the back.
What do you mean? They got the shine. I mean, like,
I mean, Lee and Neji kind of disappeared after
Neji dying was crazy.
Yeah, they died, but they didn't do anything noticeable.
They didn't do anything in Shippuden all outside of filler. What are we?
The only person who did something was Shikamaru and Choji.
Yeah.
And technically,
I never put Choji in there.
No, because Choji went hard in the war.
Please remind me what Lee did, and please don't give me war filler. Remind me what Lee did, like in the canon storyline.
I'm gonna tell you is that
Shippuden.
I don't remember. It's something right before a guy did his thing. We can't go 8 gates without dying. So that's what the whole thing was.
I mean, Guy went 8 gates and lived.
Well, because Naruto's thank you. He should have died. I mean, everybody knows that. If we would have known, everybody would have known that Naruto could bring him back. They would have went all out too. I mean, like, come on now.
Hey.
Anyways, this is not what we're talking about. I'm talking about women not getting their shine, and once again, we're gonna see it again. I'm just a feminist out here.
It's all good. All good. Can I read Swordsmaster Youngest Son? Isn't that a Tapestry series?
I have no idea.
Webtoons out here, dog.
I don't think that's a Naver series. If it's not a Naver series, I'm gonna be honest, I can't, mainly because Tapestry and other companies be striking, bro. Like, honestly, man, they really be striking.
Do you put these reactions up on YouTube?
What reactions?
For Solo? Do you do reactions for Solo?
Yeah.
No, for what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I do reactions, but like they're on like channel memberships and Patreon.
Oh, okay.
The same with T-Bait. I ain't putting that mug on the main channel, bro. I ain't getting strike down again. I learned twice.
Okay. I actually reacted to this chapter today on Twitch, but I haven't even made it public.
It just takes one person to go ahead and get that membership and see put it on there.
Hey man, look, if you trying to strike through memberships just to see it, boy, you at least I get something out of it, I guess.
Right? Yeah.
I had it on. It was on Patreon when I was doing it. I saw the email and I was like, it was an official email and I was like, whoa, like, what you doing on here?
Boy, they crazy.
There's Patreon rules.
There's not Patreon rules, but at the same time, like, you can still get in trouble.
Yeah, I commend all the newer YouTubers out there, man, who trying to fight the good fight, not knowing.
It'll come to them eventually.
Look, I ain't gonna lie though, bro, and I know we getting off topic, but fuck it. I've been seeing a lot of people like use hood scans for like for Naver's series and like Tapis and all of that stuff. I told someone like, bro, you might want to stop doing that. I ain't saying I've seen their channel since. So I don't know, if they still running or they had to start over. But I'm just saying, I tried to warn some people. Now, whether they listen or not is a completely different story. I don't think none of them did, though.
That's all no.
All I can do is help, man. All I can do is help. All right. Back to Solo. Now that, well, I guess let's put it like this. Trent, do you like Asil's move? Her 65% move that Suho used?
I honestly can barely remember that mug, but I'm impartial. It is what it is. I'm okay with it. I'm more interested if she has more character or like demon stuff to add to the mix later on. That's what I meant. I don't want her to be a weaponry tool, you know. But I get it. She's a party member. She's got to have some type of usage.
Which that is kind of a good question. Which also kind of lead into a theory. Do you guys think when Suho kind of masters the Descendants' power, that maybe he'll get like an additional power, or just like a better version that kind of doesn't, I guess, make the Descendants useless after he's using their power? Do you think something like that can happen, or are they always just going to be pretty much useless once he uses their power?
I don't remember if it's mana based, but I'm sure his ability will be able to, I'm sure by the time he's maxed out, he'll have some workaround.
You got to, right? It just seems like, I can't call it lazy writing, but like just to have Asil give you all her power and then not really pass out, but she
might as well
basically, just crippled on the ground. Like, yeah, I mean, it's cool, but that would cause a problem eventually. Like, yeah, he was in a 1v1 fight, so maybe that's fine, but in a battle with multiple people, maybe armies, like, you just sentencing her to death.
Yeah.
But I mean, they'll write around it eventually. You can just write, something where she maybe the stronger they both get, she might give them 100% of power, but still retain some or whatever.
Possible. I don't know, man. I just hated like that's just like we couldn't think of anything else.
like we said before, she's an S rank. You can't have S ranks early in the story, which is why a mutt is chained up.
But she got nerfed though. Like but she got nerfed though. Like
they gonna keep her nerfed.
But does her move have to be nerfed? Like does she have to get like such a trash move?
It looks cool.
I mean, the startup looks cool.
It looks cool.
But
hey, whatever that is, like if I was a villain, I looked at that. I was like, hold on, should I be worried about this right now? She look like she about to power up and do something. Got the orb in her hands and everything. And next thing you know, she passed out on the floor. You're like, okay, I wasn't expecting that.
Oh man, poor Asil, man, poor Asil. All right, so I guess let's move on a little bit. So after Suho pretty much leaves the dungeon, goes back home pretty much, we got introduced to Chucky again at the Hero Guild. And if you guys don't know who Chucky is, it's a little demon boy, okay? The little demon boy whose name we find out later is Teal or TL, however you want to pronounce it. Pretty much Teal sounds fine. I mean, I don't necessarily know the correct pronunciation, but Teal's fine.
I kind of pronounce it as like, it's spelled kind of like almost like celestial, almost like they're almost like, or guess what? I took it like celestial, so I just took Teal off. Oh man.
Yeah, definitely could be. It wouldn't make sense. Stop calling him Chucky. Nope. Well, I mean, I can't call him Chucky anymore. He's not even Chucky anymore. I'm gonna think of a name. I'm thinking of a nickname for him, but he's not Chucky anymore, man. He lost the title, Blaine. He lost the title of Chucky. I'm gonna figure something else out though. But star powder, he controls people that use a star powder. or star crack, as JC likes to call it. And pretty much he just kind of bitched the whole guild, which is kind of very disrespectful if I was them.
Okay. I mean, King of the Crackheads, is that what we...
Not King of the Crackheads, bro.
Come on, bro. That's what he is.
King of the Crackheads, fam?
Bro, anybody who uses it, he can control.
King of the Crack... I mean...
What else is he? The pimp crack? I don't know.
He's a supplier.
What?
He's the plug.
King plug? Plug King?
We can go with that. We can go with that.
Pause.
Yeah,
Pause. I don't know. That sounded weird.
Plug King.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie though. When he went in the guild, and old boy was pretty much like, "Yo, I ain't gonna let you punk me like this." He sliced that dude up. It was kind of disrespectful, but I guess it was just showing like he doesn't play any games. Like he really don't care.
Okay. The question I gotta ask you both is, how do you feel about his, I guess, kind of conundrum? It is, in this chapter, it was like the creations do nothing but serve the creator. Correct. You don't have a will. You do what you were commanded to do. But the reason why he left that one guy alive for a little bit because he didn't take the crack, and so he still had his own mind. So he wanted to have that conversation with him. Like, okay, like, what is it? Why do you have this free will? And what makes you so different? And how do you feel about that aspect of it?
When I first read the whole kind of power internal struggle he was having with himself, I thought it was interesting because mainly I thought it might go the route of him probably turning. Okay, so I had like three theories on that. Like, well, three guesses on what it could potentially be going forward. One, he turns on the creator and wants to side with, Suho and everything because he values the freedom. Two, he doesn't side with the creator. And then four, wants to become the creator himself in order to fully gain the freedom that he is currently enjoying.
Run the question back. I'm sorry.
So JC was pretty much asking, what do we think about him talking about like the creator? Well, the creations only serve the creator and stuff like that. I just paraphrased the shit out of that, but JC, you can go ahead and fully clarify the question.
Well, yeah, because his whole thing is he's a creation, and therefore creations are there to do nothing but serve the creator. And he was wondering why these humans had this free will, and kind of just having that conundrum of like, okay, is what I'm doing wrong? It can't be wrong, but if it's not wrong, though, how these humans, kind of having that free will. That makes sense.
Yeah, and this one, well, I had caught up earlier today, so that was just recently though. That was like within the last two chapters, right?
Yeah. He had, what was this? Chapter 30 and 31 is where he was going back and forth with it.
Yeah, and that's when he also was like, okay, well, are humans the gods type shit? Yeah, man, I don't know. Now I know I kind of interrupted you right in your theories, JD. So I don't know if you had a couple more.
No, that was kind of it. It was mainly like either one, he's just gonna side with the humans and try to go more towards free will, or two, he's gonna turn on the creator and want to become the creator himself and make a world entirely for him. Pretty much.
expected the kids to not merge.
You talking about with the third fragment?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was in what 31.
In 32,
Yes.
32 he merged.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, and he literally said it like he was like, I don't know if I want to lose my individuality.
Yeah, I don't mind skipping that because that's pretty much where I was going to go eventually.
Yeah, we can. I mean, because 30. Well, no, we gotta talk about 31 because 31.
Yeah, we do gotta talk
No,
about
I'm talking about just that.
Oh,
thought
just that.
process, because-
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because 31 was the Lord, though.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of thinking like maybe his memories of how he felt was going to affect the third fragment eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Because that thought process doesn't go away. It's just kind of a memory and a feeling that is still there. So I was like, okay, eventually he's gonna maybe have a change of heart if he stays on Earth long enough.
Mm-hmm.
But because he had that still change of heart of like we gotta turn Suho. So
Yeah.
eventually it's gonna be one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it seems like with the fragment, because it's like they are but aren't different individuals. Because even he said himself, like, "No, you were wrong too. Like, we got to turn them."
Right.
So when 4 comes, what if 3 is like, "Hey, no, you got to find your new body, your own body. You and 5 get Tiva." But if he splits up 1 through 3, and 2 and 5 goes together, type shit.
My theory was, now granted we're not totally sure on this, it kind of goes along with a little bit of what you're saying, but what if like let's say all 5 fragments come, but the second fragment, the one where he was Chucky pretty much, was kind of comes back and kind of like takes over because he like, I want my individual freedom while the rest of the fragments are trying to follow the creator's will.
Yeah. I would say yes, but he said that his consciousness is overridden.
Yeah, but that's why I say I don't know if it's necessarily a thing that could potentially happen in the future, because even though technically it's overwritten, it's still there in the current fragment's memories. Okay. So that's why I say there could be a thing in the future to where even though the main part is gone, maybe as it goes and those, like if the memories and the feelings of the second fragment are so strong, maybe the second fragment could come back and take over from the 5th fragment once all fragments are together. It's that's probably like the most slim possible chance of that happening based on what we learned, but it's not like we haven't had plot holes so far and we're only 32 chapters in, and we already had like plot holes that shit that wasn't supposed to happen.
I like the development of that character, and because it is the main bad guy that we have now, like at least there is a possibility. At least have us thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, give me 31. I know you're ready for it.
31? Man, 31 was a lot, bro. I ain't gonna. 31 was
great.
31 was great.
Crazy.
It was crazy. Like it was. Okay, so pretty much we got the backstory of why shit happened when it happened. So pretty much they found out the god or the creator of Earth pretty much died at the hands of their creations. Which we already knew, but we got a little more insight into what happened with that. So then they was like, yo, I want this world. Go. So another creator was like, yo, I want this world. I'm gonna send y'all creations out there. Go get me my shit. Run me my bread. That's pretty much what it was like. Run me my bread. So they was like, bet, we gonna do it. So they went to try to get the world without a master, but because of the amount of energy needed, they couldn't really cross like talking about it. And moreover, I'm just gonna read it because it's just a fucking lot. Okay, so the dimensional passage became narrower the more energy one had, so the army of gods spent eons in it. So I guess just that part alone that we actually got kind of a time frame, because it was just when we originally found out about the fragments, it was just like it just spent a long time. I don't think it said eons. I could be wrong.
Well, that's correct, because if you look at the original story, when the fragments killed God of this dimension, the wars and stuff still happened. So Jinwoo was still a long way away from even being born, even being thought about.
But I guess that goes with the next question, because technically, okay, so because, all right, so when Jinwoo killed the creator, right, of Earth, the god of Earth, Jinwoo killed him.
What? When?
Because wouldn't that meant that that's why the world was without a master?
No, the fragments killed God a long time ago.
Yeah,
I mean, it was the
no, because it was the monarchs, right?
Yeah,
it was the original Shadow Monarch, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
no, the original Shadow Monarch was betrayed by them. He did not kill God. It was the other ones.
Yeah, the other ones killed him.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that's when it was left without a god. So then the angels and the army or whatever spent eons trying to get there to claim it, but Jinwoo was already there and he was overpowered as fuck. So then Jinwoo was like, I'm about to body all y'all. And he did.
Basically.
Because technically he's OP as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. So now they're pretty much worried about the darkness, because they're like, yo, the longer battle goes on, the darkness gets stronger. The army of God was at a disadvantage, and the war that started in the world without a master was soon pushed to an outside dimension, which should be currently what Jinwoo is now, right?
Correct.
All right. Just make sure we all following. We on the same page.
So now these same rules apply to him. He can't just go from one dimension to another. He's way too strong. It'll take him way too long to get back.
Right. So it's kind of the same thing, just in reverse. So that's why Suho has to get. But wouldn't Suho have the same problem? Or I guess it's different going than different coming back.
I don't know if it's the same or different. I think going from one dimension to another is going to be the same no matter what.
But it felt like Jinwoo got there like that. It didn't feel like it took him eons to get there. But again, I guess I don't know.
But we don't. What is the actual timeline?
Right. We also know time moves different, right? Once he leaves Earth, and they kind of confirmed that in the original series.
I don't remember if they actually said the amount of time.
He did fight a whole. Remember, he went young and fought a whole battle and did a whole bunch of more shit, and Earth was fine. Well, he was resetting stuff, but
yeah, he kept resetting it, right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
But my whole thing is, okay, so if it takes eons to get to Earth, does it take eons to leave Earth? Or what's the time difference from leaving Earth and going, to a different dimension versus coming from a different dimension and coming to Earth?
I don't know, but Beru did it. But he is.
Yeah, but Beru came from outside.
Yeah, so he made himself so weak that he got there faster.
Right.
But I don't know what the opposite is.
Right. Blaine said there might have been a chapter in the beginning that explained the time.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that would probably be chapter either 1, 2, or 3. Had to be one of those. Most likely probably 2 or 3. Because I think chapter 1 didn't really tell us much, but I could be wrong.
But to your point about plot holes and crap,
mm-hmm.
early on at least,
mm-hmm.
even if there wasn't mention of it, I think obviously this kind of sets the direction in which we're going. It's okay, well, we may get to a point where Suho doesn't go outer space because of the threat that's, because there are coming, and maybe Sung Jin-woo eventually finds out that, the main threat has already breached past him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But does he have to come back?
Does Jinwoo have to come back?
Yeah, I mean, if Suho takes care of whatever's coming, then.
Well, if it's still coming, then maybe Sung Jin-woo has to be on his way as well. You know what I'm saying? Because they said they were traveling for eons. So or that some beings travel for eons. So it's like, I don't know, but I'm thinking maybe he never really, regardless of how it goes down, I'm thinking he never really goes out of space because, they're like conflicting threats, like there's a big enough threat to end the world still on Earth.
Well, they said Jinwoo was in a different dimension fighting.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I mean, like Suho won't have to leave because he'll be
but
handling the Earth portion of the threat.
But Suho's whole goal is to get to Jinwoo. So would he just abandon that particular thing?
I just don't think they'll reunite in spades.
Okay.
Like maybe Sung Jinwoo comes back or has to help.
Dang, does he even really need help?
Does Suho need help?
Yeah, no, Sung Jinwoo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, as of right now, we don't think he does, but I mean,
he's got a freaking network. He's got shadow angels.
That is true. But I mean, I guess it just depends on the power difference between him and the actual gods he'll be fighting. Like, is he on equal terms with him? Because if he's not like overwhelmingly stronger than the gods that he's going to be fighting, then it's gonna be tough even with the Shadow Soldiers, mainly because the gods can just wipe the Shadow Soldiers out, and it still just be kind of a fight.
Yeah, but didn't Jin kill everybody that was a threat in his own dimension, including the ones that killed the gods eventually?
You talking about like what were they called?
You're asking.
I'm trying to remember.
The monarchs and what was the angels called? Whatever they're called.
Them. But I think he defeated them. But they weren't like the actual creators. They were the creations. Based on
the creations killed the creator though.
Yeah. But
so if you kill the creations who kill the creator, I'm pretty sure, you good. I mean, you bring them back as Shadow Soldiers also. So,
but I'm trying to think, because if that's the only reason I'm saying that, because if that's the case, we really wouldn't need a story for the most part.
I mean, here's the thing. Just because, they could have said that they killed the weakest god or whatever situation may be, because whoever this god is coming to take this dimension seems to be confident in doing it. Like, it wasn't even a question. Like, let's go get it.
Right. So that's why I'm like, if the gods will have to be pretty powerful for the whole premise, at least as of now, the whole goal is to get to Jinwoo to help fight the gods.
You're right. I always personally thought that the creations killing the creator was kind of a weird thing. It seemed like he didn't even move from his throne. Like, he just kind of got stabbed everywhere. I was like, okay,
Well, I guess you could say it's because of complacency and he didn't really expect it. Because we can go dark here. Like, JC, you wouldn't expect your child to just come and stab you in the neck,
Right.
You wouldn't be ready for that. So it could be something like that. Like, you'll never expect it. And then when it happens, you'll be like, oh shit, I got stabbed in the neck. I died. So.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like an arrogance thing. Like, they do what I tell them to do, and they would never.
Right. They would never rise up against me. It's kind of like we see in these, the past great kingdoms, Rome, Greece, all of that stuff, where, the kings died a lot from betrayal and stuff like that. And, and they never thought, like, oh, damn, I ain't never think you would be the one to kill me.
Well, so here's the thing. Maybe that god was really strong, just arrogance, right? Maybe that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Jinwoo's not as strong.
Didn't they jump Julius Caesar?
Well, Brutus kind of stabbed him, but et tu, Brute?
Yeah, sure.
But so I guess we can kind of go with that. So let's just say that is the case. And I want to say in the original solo leveling, they did say it was complacency and that it was easy.
Mhm.
I want to say that was in one of those ending chapters, not before like the time skill with Jinwoo, but right before that, during the final battle. I want to say that was it, but I could be totally wrong. Okay, but regardless, okay, so they didn't detect mana from the life forms of Earth, so they used the mist burns in order to try and conquer it. We then find out that the mist burns were the weakest believers that carried out the will of God, even as their minds crumbled, set alight by the holy fire. So, the mist burns are not just super cracked up. They're actually believers of God, which I found that was interesting.
I mean, believers, followers. I mean, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I interpreted them as like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like they're like wailing victims.
Could it necessarily be whaling victims because they was so this was the thing that kind of got me when they discussed the mist burns in this chapter, because like, so we knew mist burns as they were being created by the star powder and just humans, regular old humans. So
Yeah, like demon batteries almost.
yeah, and then they became mist burns, but now we're saying that mist burns were just the weakest believers of God.
What did the original Miss Burns look like then?
You're right. They don't seem like they have consciousness, but maybe they. I mean, I don't know.
Like zombies,
They seem like
basically.
tortured humans. Yeah.
But also in the beginning, like if a mist burn pretty much touched, like remember in the beginning, like the first chapter I think it was, when they fought the mist burns and mist burns touched them and then they became mist burns.
Yeah.
And then we found out like, oh, the demons are actually creating the mist burns, mainly based off the star powder. So, but now we're saying mist burns are just believers that are carried out by God and set ablaze by the holy fire, which is that the star powder would be the holy fire in this particular case? Or you kind of see why I'm trying to figure out what the fuck the mist burns are, because we kind of got like 3 different variations and
You remember they started the Miss Burns or creating Miss Burns. They had them like, was it that device, and they had them on fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I thought, but at the same time, maybe those aren't the original one. That's how they make them. Wherever dimension or whatever that they come from, that's how they make mist burns. But I don't know if it has any. I thought the mist burns turned into star powder if you kept burning them. Like eventually turn to ash, and that's star powder. That's what I would assume.
I don't know. I would have to go back.
But I mean, it makes sense for the whole, traveling dimensions. These
the lore
are
part
the
of
weakest
it.
creatures. Yeah, these are the weakest creatures. It's easy enough to get them there, and then they could take over this world that doesn't have any mana in it. Which you still got to travel through those dimensions or that dimension. So once they got mana, then he's like, okay, maybe this plan is not the best plan we could have done, but it's still somewhat working.
Yeah. No, what, Blaine? What you mean? Why are you saying no? Why are you saying no, fam? All right, so then it said, though their powers were weak, their explosive evangelization was critical to beings without mana. So I'm guessing people who weren't hunters. And, I guess that was easier to create the mist burns because they were beings without mana. So that's probably why they was taking regular humans, which that makes sense. And then we get to the next part, which the army of God deemed that if their faith spread to the world without a master and the number of believers increased, they would be able to manifest a sanctuary and eventually a miracle. I guess that part is kind of is that we're going to leave this up to mystery and interpretation until we actually get to that point in the story. Because I'm assuming like the sanctuary and eventually a miracle is going to be mainly us getting our ass there a lot quicker, or finding an easier way to get to Earth a lot quicker.
think it's the same thing as the original Soul Leveling. Like, what's the final boss name? Whatever it is, you had to have enough magic so he can get there.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember his name.
You talking about the Dragon Monarch?
Yeah.
So you saying the monarchs would be the manifestation of the sanctuary?
No, I'm just saying, as in, like, in the original Soul Leveling, you had to have enough magical energy for the monarchs to be there, and the reasons why the final boss, the Dragon Monarch, can get there until the very end because the magical energy wasn't high enough.
Correct.
But once it was, he showed up. And it's the same thing that we're doing here. The sanctuary, once enough magical energy gets there, or enough mist burns, created, then the sanctuary appears, then they can come through it. It's basically the same thing.
So they would get there quicker, because
Yeah.
So
the same story as the original one.
But in the original, they was never able to get there quicker. It just took a hell of a long time, and even in that's why I
once
said
the magic energy is high enough in both stories, then they get there.
Yeah, that's what I said though.
Yeah. You said that. I was just saying, like, that is how the original story went, and I don't think there's very much of a mystery as in like what they're trying to do.
I guess the mystery is what exactly is the sanctuary. I mean, we can conclude that the miracle is them getting there a lot faster. But I guess the sanctuary part is, are we going to have like kind of a gate opening type thing, or interdimensional portal, which will kind of construct as a sanctuary to where the creators can step through without
what
having
is this
to
religious thing that we're doing right now? Believers, the sanctuary. I mean, it seems like this god in this dimension has this whole religion, this cult that they're following. It's very religious themed over there. So I don't think they have angels. They have apostles. Do they have disciples? Can't remember if they have disciples or not.
Yeah, well, I guess the apostles are the quote unquote.
Well, they are quote unquote disciples, but see, I mean, just even by the names that they go by, and if I had to guess, I'm not sure if this Tiel or Steel probably some sort of reference to some sort of angel or whatever somewhere.
It might be. So the NTL split his power 5 pieces, as we know. The weakest piece took the embers of the mist burns and headed to a world without a master. Just as planned, the feeble fragment wasn't detected by the darkness, which is how it got in, because it was so weak Jinwoo didn't even detect it. Alright, so then the first fragment that arrived at a world without a master encountered an unexpected variable. We had hunters, and he was like, oh shit, this is crazy. And it had an incident called a cataclysm, which everybody became hunters, blah blah blah. We already know that. So the first fragment decided to wait for the other fragments, and it successfully fused with me, the second fragment. And to think such convenient change would happen in the midst of a war, it must have been by someone's design. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. And in order to accomplish the mission as a fragment, pretty much has to just do what he's supposed to do. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of like fair game, but that was pretty much the lore dump that we got. Alright. Any thoughts on the lore dump, man? Because it was a lot. It was a lot of shit.
I mean, I like the lore dump. It was, I mean, you kind of got the understanding, kind of reiterating of why, Jinwoo was gone, why he couldn't just come back, how these things got to Earth and all that. I mean, it was probably one of the better chapters that we had, to be honest with you. I kind of have questions, I guess. But at the same time, I mean, if they're willing to do stuff like this, then you get the answers eventually, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but you can still try and guess and figure it out ahead of time. The beauty of it is you don't know if you'll be right until it actually get revealed.
That's true.
But if you try to guess ahead of time, it's fun to be like, yeah, I was right.
Yeah, I don't know. Still kind of mulling over it, I guess you could say.
What about you, Trent? Like the lore dump, hate the lore dump.
I couldn't hit my fucking mute button. Sorry, my unmute button. But at first, while I was reading it, bro, I was like, "What the hell? Why is there? Why are they? Why are we getting this like semi-randomly?" But as I was going through it, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is getting fleshed out." And I was like, "Okay." It started to be slowly become like, "Oh, this is a prime chapter," you know? Because it was add more. Now, obviously, like I said, we got to see freaking demon, or like the angel battle. You know what I'm saying? And that made me start thinking, oh, okay, Beru and them are lower tier now, like
Right.
which is probably obvious considering they started to become lower once we even had Belly on, but yeah, now it's like, okay, how strong is Wu? You know? Because now he's probably got more angels than not.
True. And I guess I kind of go back to what we were saying. Like, even if he does have angels, is Jinwoo's power that of the creators? Now, it could be on par, but being on par doesn't necessarily mean he can defeat all of them. And we don't necessarily know it. I think they gave a number on how many creators it was.
Here's the thing, but does he need to beat them?
I mean,
the creators seem to not want to move off the throne. It's more entertainment. Like, hey, go.
Well, if we already have one creator like, yo, let's take over that shit because the other one died. So what's to say the other ones won't follow suit? It'll be better to go ahead and try and knock them out ahead of time.
At the same time, like, I just don't see them, quote unquote, lowering themselves to go and fight Jinwoo. Like, I think they would more than likely say, okay, you know, he's as strong as we are, let's leave him alone, or, you know, whatever, before they get off the throne themselves. I think the original creator of Jinwoo's dimension was like, you know, he was so arrogant that he got killed by his own subjects. But he wasn't about to get off his throne and do something.
But also, you wouldn't want like somebody coming in and just having the audacity to just kill you either. Like even if you weren't interested in taking over their realm, like the fact that you trying to come up here and start some shit, and especially if we had nothing to do with it, or just like the pride fact that like we're gods, we're the creators, you know, and looking at it like how they're a creation trying to, you know, trying to talk shit.
You don't think Jinwoo's playing defense right now? Just like
he could be, he could be playing defense because, like I said, like if all the creators are coming after him, which we don't know if that's, you know, indeed the case, it could just be one, it could be all of them. That's why I was like, could he? How long can he hold out until Suho comes and helps? Because Suho will have to come and help. That's the whole purpose, at least as of now.
I think we're just dealing with one creator in one dimension, right? Currently.
Well, currently, yeah, one creator is trying to take over. But like I said, that doesn't stop any of the other creators from then following suit.
I mean, that's just kind of interesting because I feel like the story's making it seem like, okay, it's just this one. But if you add another one in there, of course, that's when Suho has to come in. Even at that case, we don't know what his power is going to be. Is it going to be strong enough? I mean,
yeah. Blaine says, as far as the shadows, wouldn't they still have to level up again after he brings them back?
Yes.
Based on what we know, unless something changed that we don't know, yeah. So technically, the shadows would be weak, even the angels. So
I mean, they'd be weaker, but they're not like down to one, like level 1.
I will hope.
Like Beru
I will
as
hope
a,
not.
yeah, Beru as a shadow was still stronger than all the other S rank hunters.
That is true. That is true.
He was weaker than he was, but he's still stronger than everybody else.
Blaine then said, "Interim equals outer god, so it's multiple." And we're dealing with the apostles and the Mistburns on Earth, technically. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's a lot, but I guess we can go with. I did want to bring up a theory to y'all as far as Suho, because if you guys notice, Suho still doesn't have a class yet. So
Like he was what? Was he a thief class, and then he went to a job title?
he, if I'm not mistaken, he never had a class. He never had a class or a class change. So
Will he get a class?
that I would assume he would get a class. My question is, what do you guys think his class would be? My ultimate goal or end game that Suho is going to get to is like, obviously, you know, we're getting all the descendants, right? We're getting the monarchs.
I don't know if he's getting a class, bro.
Hold on, hear me out though. Hear me out. All right, follow me real quick. All right, so we know Suho is gathering all the monarchs, right? The descendants of the monarchs, which by then will give him the power of all the monarchs. So if he gathers all the power of the monarchs together, would that put him on a level of a creator or be a creator by having all the power of the monarchs? What y'all think about that? Why?
Because at the end of the day, the monarchs end up losing.
Yeah, but the monarchs never had the power of every other monarch.
I mean, put them all together, that's fine, but he won't have all the powers of monarch either. He has, I mean, one ability.
I'm talking about at the end.
I didn't see the rest of the powers though. I still don't think it's gonna be anywhere close to the creators.
And the only reason I say that is because once he does get a class, the class will have to have something to do with the monarchs.
What class would that be?
I have no idea. But it would have to be something with the monarchs, because that's pretty much his whole goal, is to gather the Pokeballs. He has to catch them all.
I mean, I guess, but I can't even think of where. Just with what he has now, just with these two.
So you're thinking his class is like the Master of Monarchs?
Yeah, and by being a Master of Monarchs, that has to put you on a level.
You're the Monarch of all monarchs,
right? But by being a Monarch of all monarchs, that has to put you on a level that's above monarchs. Like, you can't be a Master of Monarchs and still be on a level of monarchs. You have to be, if you're a master of all of the monarchs who are powerful in their own right, you should be a tier above any monarch.
That include Jinwoo?
Yes.
No.
Well, if there anything like the other,
He would have to be.
From what the other chapters made it seem, was like the other monarchs we've ran into, or like the wolf guy at least, was next in line to be the next monarch.
Right.
So, to your point, maybe that could be happening, because it could be putting Suho as the next monarch, but what if that's also elevating Jinwoo to like the god of this universe?
Suho's never going to have
Therefore,
power of Jinwoo.
What'd you say?
He's never going to have the power of Jinwoo. Like, he's going to be.
I think he
a
would
smaller version of it.
I would think he would have to.
He's already got.
Well, he's not gonna have the full Shadow Monarch powers, because you can only have one. So, but would you really need the full power of the Shadow Monarch if you already have the power, even if it's a portion? Well, technically, he has full power. He just will never be the actual monarch.
Yeah, he's got because outside of him putting skill points into the abilities that some Jinwoo has right now, he's got everything Sung Jinwoo's got and more, right?
Yeah, he has everything Jinwoo has. He just won't be the Shadow Monarch because Jinwoo's already the Shadow Monarch.
Yeah,
Right,
he
that's what I'm
has
saying.
it.
What if
He don't have
Jinwoo's
the
the god?
capability.
What if Jinwoo steps up into the god slot so that no other gods try to take over the rulerless universe or whatever, you know?
I mean, what he can create? What 3 shadows? Like
Or creator or whatever, you know?
Honestly, we don't know what Suho can do because he doesn't.
Not
He
Suho,
doesn't.
but Sung Jinwoo.
No, I was responding to JC
Oh,
because Suho doesn't really use shadows like Jinwoo.
because he can't.
He can,
He used 3
But
maximum. What?
but he does. The thing is, that's why I say he doesn't use them like Jinwoo uses. He uses them as like a fucking mask or gauntlets or a
Yeah.
sword. He doesn't use them like Jinwoo uses his as far as an army.
Yeah, but they said Jinwoo can use his the same way Suho does.
right. But Suho could use it the same way Sung Jinwoo does as well. He just doesn't.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying, but yes, he has the power.
Shadow storage is the only thing that Sung or Suho doesn't seem to have.
That we know of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying,
And
like
actually, low key, we've seen his like shadow dimension. That's low key doper than anything we've seen from Woo.
then they said Jinwoo had that eventually.
Jinwoo has a shadow
dimension.
dimension, but again, like we saying, Suho has everything Jinwoo has. He just doesn't uses it the same way Jinwoo uses his. He has the same powers.
You're talking about, okay, just in simple terms, like yes, like they have all the same abilities, but Suho's at level 2, Jinwoo's at level 10. Like you're saying like, yeah, they all can do the same thing, but they're not the same.
Okay, it's kind of like Blaine said. Suho has everything, but it hasn't been unlocked because he's still leveling up. He has the same shit. He just can't use the same shit currently.
But the thing about it is that since Jinwoo is basically spoon feeding Suho right now, I mean, not really spoon feeding, but he's giving him a different version of the leveling system. Like I would assume it's gonna like divert somewhere else eventually. You're not just gonna have a copy of your dad.
Well, we already seen the diversion because Suho can use Ruler's Authority better than Jinwoo. And Suho's mastered the shadows in a way Jinwoo hasn't, just based on what Beru said.
No, Beru said that Jinwoo could do it, he just doesn't.
And Beru also said that Suho is better at using Ruler's Authority than Jinwoo.
Maybe earlier in his, when he used it, but you think now
he said it recently.
He
said it. That's what Beru said. He said
he's using Ruler's Authority better than Jinwoo did.
That's what
as of right now.
That's what Beru said. I didn't say it.
Ain't no way. What chapter is this in?
I had to go look. I had to go find
Blaine, what chapter is it in?
Okay, Blaine said Jinwoo can do the same thing as Suho. Suho just did it faster, more easily. So
I think they were meaning like Suho had probably a higher like adeptness to it, or like
I mean, that's to put another different analogies. Goku and Gohan. Like yes, Goku did it first, but Gohan has more. I mean,
Gohan is technically stronger than Goku, but
I mean, well, yeah, but at the same time, he's always had the what do you call it? The
potential.
Yeah, potential. Yeah, that potential to be stronger than his dad. I mean, yes, that's the same thing with Suho.
So you saying Suho has the same potential, but he's still not gonna be on the level of Jinwoo?
Here's the thing: Jinwoo's doing it for a long time, and I don't know if he's ever. He might get there eventually, but I don't think he's gonna get there before the story's over.
You don't think Suho's gonna get to Jinwoo before the story's over?
No, as strong as he is.
If Suho's gonna end up fighting gods, why wouldn't he?
Well, we don't know. He's not fighting gods. Sung Jinwoo's not fighting gods. He's fighting the gods' armies.
But
We don't.
Jinwoo is out
You're,
fighting the gods' armies and going to fight the gods. Suho is trying to get to where Jinwoo is, which is outer space. Well,
I'm just
not
saying
technically
there's
outer
nothing
space,
in the
but
story
different
that says he's
dimension.
going to be fighting the gods. He's fighting God's armies. I don't think he's ever going to get to fighting a god and killing that said god.
Then what's the point of? I think they would have to, because if you're not killing a god, you're just gonna be fighting his army for all eternity.
That's what he's been doing.
Well, he hasn't been doing it technically because it just happened. So
I mean, it's been happening since Suho's been what? How old?
I mean, but I'm saying, you really think Jinwoo is just gonna not kill the god that's trying to take over where his family lives?
I mean, if it's the interim and there's multiple gods, I don't know how he's going to do it.
It's just one that we know of is trying to take over.
Well,
That we know of, clearly. Which is why I said, if Jinwoo is, let's just say Jinwoo's on par with the gods, right? With the outer gods. He still would need help to fight the outer gods. Which is the whole point of Suho getting stronger, to meet him. Which is why I said they would have to fight the gods eventually. Even if it's kind of like how it was in the original Solo, where we just kind of got the the side stories, and was pretty much was the aftermath of everything. When Jinwoo was out fighting, and it was just kind of like, yeah, he been fighting for this long, blah 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 blah.
Jinwoo gets strong enough to be a god himself, then I mean, I don't know. You kind of just, I wouldn't say you ruined the original story, but he's just gonna be out there on a throne somewhere. And I guess Suho's gonna go back to his original life. What's
I mean, I
mom gonna be doing? I don't know.
I can still see a part where Suho never reaches the other dimension, and I can see Jinwoo sacrificing himself to never come back and to stay in the outer dimension to be the creator. I can see that
Exactly.
That's something he would do.
To keep shit going,
Right?
sure.
To keep shit right. To keep shit going and to keep the other outer gods from taking over.
He basically did that shit the first time.
Right. So I can see him sacrificing himself to do that.
I'll give you that much, because right now, if you're going off of the very loose power scaling of this TL or Teal, he's strong enough to beat Suho at A rank, but he was not strong enough to mess with the S rank until maybe that third.
Yeah, he got the third fragment.
Got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what. So, I mean, if you keep going at that direction, and this third fragment is, fusing with it, makes him as strong as an S rank. He still was warned about the S rank, so maybe it's not as strong. Maybe as strong, maybe not stronger, but you keep going that direction, then this guy seems to be the final boss, but it seems to be really early for that.
Agreed. Okay, so Blaine said chapter 8, Beru said Suho uses it better. I'm assuming that was Ruler's Authority, because he didn't have shadows in chapter 8, I assume.
I'm assuming that's also correct.
Okay. Then Blaine says Suho stronger per the chapter was to protect Earth.
And that's it. I mean, he'll got to go past that.
What, to protect the Earth?
I mean, I guess that's what Jinwoo did in the original one. So I mean,
yeah, the only reason I said Suho would end up in the other dimension because he wanted to go help save his mom, which is Cha.
Where is she?
All we know is that she's been kidnapped by the interim, which is why Jinwoo went out there.
Let me see. How'd they get her? What? What do you? That just makes it even worse. How'd they get her?
I don't fucking know.
If this apostle wasn't strong enough at the beginning to
plot holes, man. That's why I said the shit. We had plot holes in the beginning, so I don't know. I don't know. But child was kidnapped. Jinwoo went to go get her. If I'm not mistaken, that's what they said in the beginning chapters. And Suho, that's why I said Suho's whole goal was to go help, to get to where his father was, to help. Blaine said ruler authority and shadow authority was what was mentioned as him being a prodigy.
Okay. Either way, not mad at it.
Yeah. So I guess it's either two things, man. Either Suho gonna be on par, or he's gonna be stronger. I think at the end of the day, that's probably what it's just gonna be for him. He's either gonna be on par or stronger than his dad.
Well, if you're gonna do that, then those powers better be like one hell of a upgrade. Because I don't know. Knowing what Jinwoo can do, you're gonna say he's gonna be on par or stronger. Because the power's not gonna be the exact same. So I'm excited to see what it is, whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah, Blaine said the same thing. I don't know how she got kidnapped if TL hasn't gotten there as the first fragment. Yep, I don't know. I don't know who kidnapped her, how they kidnapped her. We just know that they said she was kidnapped and Jinwoo went to go save her.
Yeah, I guess.
Plot holes, man. Fucking plot holes. But yeah, I got anything else y'all want to say before we roll out?
Nope, all good over here.
What about you?
Yeah, my bad, man. I had dinner. I got a new puppy, so I've been feeling all
Oh man, new puppy. What kind of puppy?
Pit bull or something like that? Look
a little pit bull.
Why it had to be a pit bull though, JC? Why he couldn't have a Dalmatian?
I actually did get a pit bull though.
I saw the picture.
Well, I know now you actually got a pit bull, but I'm saying why the first dog that had to come out of your mouth was a pit bull though?
I saw the picture. What do you mean?
But he did see it, yeah.
Well, I didn't
he
see
saw
it.
it.
Okay, I didn't see the picture, so okay. I'll let it go. I'm just saying you just trying to be stereotypical.
Yeah, let's just ignore it and just gang up on him.
I don't mind being racist, whatever. Niggas got pit bulls. I don't know.
I don't have a pit bull.
Funny thing is,
Mix has got a pit bull in it, so I don't know. I got one.
One of my homeboys from St. Louis actually moved to Georgia, and I got him on the way out.
That's what's up. But I don't have a pit bull.
Technically, I met him back out. I had already left and then met him back in Tennessee, but yeah.
I have a Maltese mixed with a poodle and a Shepherd mixed with a Husky.
Damn, that was a big one, then, huh?
He's not that big.
Big as hell.
How?
Yeah, it's probably big as hell.
That's
what names with big dogs say. It ain't that big.
He really isn't. He like 80 pounds.
Wow. Seems like that sounds big to me.
Yeah.
80 pounds runs at you full speed. That'll hurt.
Hey,
yeah, my dog's that big. Yeah, it's not small. It's not small.
What kind of dog you got?
He's a mix of a couple different things.
Name. If you say pit bull, you're a complete Negro.
Pit bull.
It is pit bull. Yeah, it is actually like a pit bull, like a coonhound. It's a lot of things.
Oh, look at you! Look, you gonna ask me if I got a pit bull? You got a pit bull and a coonhound mix.
I told you, I could. That's why I said it.
Combination, just in the name. We got a coon bull.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Tragic.
What? Coon bull. I'll start calling it that. Coon bull. He's black too. There you go.
God damn it. God fucking damn it. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. I'll holler at y'all later.
All right, man.
Peace.